Good morning, my YouTube viewers. It's Palestine here. I'm back in my bedroom now. I don't know which place is better for me to make videos, whether it's my bedroom or the kitchen, but I decided I'd give my bedroom a try. And what I'm doing is I wanted to make another video for you and what this video is going to be a comparison of Enron and Foster Wheeler. And basically what I did was I went to my good friend Copilot and I posed the question. But before I do the video, what I wanted to say is on the Wood Group, it said that the CFO has been asked to resign from the Wood Group because he said he was a chartered accountant when actually he was only a certified accountant. And so he's having to resign from the Wood Group because of that. So things are getting really testy with the Wood Group. So one question I have is I'm really surprised that nobody has written a book about Foster Wheeler, because people have written books about Enron, and Foster Wheeler was pretty bad. So why is no books written about Foster Wheeler? And I thought, well, maybe I could write a book, but I'm really busy, one. Two, I don't have any credibility. I could write a book based on what's on the public domain on the internet and my personal experiences working in that company about how they treated their employees. But because I'm not a professional writer and I'm not a journalist, I don't know how well it would sell. But I'm really surprised that nobody has tried to write a book about Foster Wheeler. I imagine Foster Wheeler is trying to hush it all up, just like they tried to intimidate me to get me to be quiet and not say things about the company. Because when they let me go, on one of the letters that they wrote me, they said that I'm not allowed to say anything about the company. Well, I'm saying things about the company, and that letter has been removed from my apartment and it has been replaced with a more moderately worded letter. Lots of letters that I have received that were really outrageous have been removed from my apartment and replaced. But what I want to do now is I wanted to compare Enron to Foster Wheeler, because Enron collapsed and loads of books were written about Enron. And one of the reasons why in the United States, they made the Sarbanes-Oxley Act was because of the collapse of Enron and the effect that it had on its employees and the population at large. So I'm really surprised that nobody's tried to write a book about Foster Wheeler. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, and if I do it, I don't know how many people will read it. But we're going to talk about the main points of Enron's collapse was fraudulent accounting practices. Enron used complex accounting methods such as mark-to-market accounting and special purpose entities to hide its debt and inflate profits. You had executive misconduct, so key executives including Kenneth Lay, Jeffrey Skilling, and Andrew Fastow were involved in misleading investors and regulators about the company's financial health. You had bankruptcy filing. In December 2001, Enron filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which was the largest corporate bankruptcy in U.S. history at that time. You had the dissolution of Arthur Andersen. The scandal led to the dissolution of Arthur Andersen LLP, one of the largest auditing and accounting firms in the world, due to its role in the fraudulent activities. And you had regulatory changes. You had the collapse prompted significant regulatory changes, including Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, which aimed to improve the accuracy of financial reporting and increase penalties for corporate fraud. So now we're going to have, and I got all this on Copilot, by the way, so this information is on the public domain. So if Foster Wheeler tries to come after me, I'll just say, well, everything I said was on the internet. It was on the public domain. This is the main points regarding the collapse of Foster Wheeler. Had financial struggles. By December 2003, Foster Wheeler faced significant financial difficulties with a shareholder deficit of $872 million. You had restructuring efforts. The company underwent extensive restructuring to manage its financial woes, which included cost-cutting measures and attempts to streamline operations. You had the merger with AMEC, and I worked at Foster Wheeler during that time. In 2014, Foster Wheeler merged with AMEC PLC to form AMEC Foster Wheeler. This merger was partly driven by the need to stabilize the company's financial situation. You had a market downturn. The merger coincided with a downturn in the price of crude oil, which negatively impacted the market for services to the energy industry and left the merged company with a substantial debt. And you had acquisition by Wood Group. In October 2017, AMEC Foster Wheeler was acquired by Wood Group, marking the end of Foster Wheeler as an independent entity. And also found out what some of the key fraudulent activities of Foster Wheeler were. You had bribery and corruption. Foster Wheeler was involved in bribery and corruption, particularly in the oil and gas sector. That's where I worked. The company used corrupt agents to secure contracts in various regions, including the Middle East. You had violations of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, FCPA. The company violated the FCPA by engaging in bribery, failing to maintain accurate books and records, and lacking adequate internal controls. You had a deferred prosecution agreement. In 2021, AMEC Foster Wheeler Energy Limited, I worked in Foster Wheeler Energy Limited, entered into a DPA with the UK Serious Fraud Office, agreeing to pay £103 million as part of a global settlement in the UK, US, and Brazilian authorities. And they didn't mention Nigeria, but they did a lot of stuff in Nigeria as well. And if you look it up on the internet, there'll be loads of articles about Foster Wheeler's involvement with Nigeria and how the UK government had to actually pay the Nigerian government money because of things that Foster Wheeler did. And you had the historical use of agents. Investigations revealed that Foster Wheeler historically used third-party agents to facilitate corrupt practices, primarily in the Middle East. And I will say that there was one incident when I was being harassed out of the company. I was at the bus stop, so I had to take the bus into work every morning. And I was at the bus stop, and this one man came up to me, and he said, "Oh, you've got lovely shoes," and then he walked off. And then another time, I had a yellow Post-it note, and I was looking for the Post-it note, and it came up missing. It had something written on it, and it came up missing, and I had it in my home. It came up missing, and I was walking to the bus stop, and I was walking on the road that I live on. I can't say the name of the road in case some people try to harass me, but I'm sure Foster Wheeler knows where I live. And a lady came up to me with this Post-it note that had been come up missing and handed it to me, and then just walked off. So those are two instances that I can think of that Foster Wheeler used third parties to harass me and intimidate me. They also used other employees to harass me and intimidate me. And I know I'm nobody. I'm just a little insignificant person. But I was an affiliate coordinator, and that was a very important position in the company because I dealt with intercompany and I dealt with service orders and intercompany agreements and intercompany transfers and things like that. So even though I was very small in the food chain, I still did a very important job. And if something happened to me, Foster Wheeler could have benefited financially from that. So I'm not egotistical enough to think that I'm a really important person, because I know I'm not an important person. But I did an important job. And when Foster Wheeler was being sold to AMEC, see, AMEC was an English company. It was listed on the London Stock Exchange. And so you didn't need an affiliate coordinator anymore, because Foster Wheeler, it had been an American company, and then it was in Bermuda, and then it had become a Swiss company. But because you had a presence of Foster Wheeler in America, you still had to comply with Sarbanes-Oxley. So I'm not sure. I don't know if when Foster Wheeler was bought by AMEC, if they had to comply with Sarbanes-Oxley, because they were no longer on the American Stock Exchange. They were on a UK stock exchange. So they didn't need my services anymore. I don't think they did anyway. But even if they didn't need me anymore, they could have made me redundant, but they chose not to make me redundant. They chose to make it look like I had a mental illness, and that's why I had to leave, which was despicable. It was totally unnecessary. It was something that didn't need to be done. And the reason why they did it, they would have done it anyway. They were going to get rid of me anyway, because Foster Wheeler was being sold to AMEC, and my manager didn't like me. But because I had made a complaint to ACAS and I had complained to other people about them, they just decided to get rid of me. And that's another story. That's something that I will be talking about in subsequent videos. But I'm going to try to wrap up my videos on Foster Wheeler for the time being and go back to where the chronological order of talking about when I was 6 years old at Mableville Elementary School, living on Bunch Road. Because I want to do all of my experiences in chronological order, but these things come up, especially things with Foster Wheeler come up, and so I feel like I need to make a video about it. And so if Wood Group goes under, they may very well make a movie about it. They made movies about Enron. They made plays about Enron. I went and saw the play about Enron. I don't know why they haven't made a movie and a play about Foster Wheeler, especially how they treated their employees. I mean, I would be happy to help any movie moguls, for pay of course, help any movie moguls and tell them everything that Foster Wheeler did to me personally, and they did things to other people as well. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please like and subscribe, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be back on track with my other videos that I'm making. But I just felt I needed to make a video about comparing Enron to Foster Wheeler. And you'll notice that they made movies and books and plays about Enron, but they haven't made any movies and books and plays about Foster Wheeler. And I think Foster Wheeler is just as worthy of a movie and a book and a play as Enron. So thank you again for watching my video. I look forward to making another video for you tomorrow.